Well, let's see. Okay, there it is. There's the YouTube video. I just have to get the right video on there and turn down some stuff. I'll be right back. The Old Tube Radio Network. All right, now how much would you pay?
Hello.
All right, we'll see if it's all working here. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. 27085 is where we are at. The frequency, the channel 11. Also on your Universal Media Net web device. Everywhere else at oldtuberadio.net, and perhaps the YouTube video channel is up and running. It says that it is.
Still trying.
May have to do a refresh or two, see if it's happy. Although, well, let's see. Let me see if I can get it to beacon in. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to go. Anyway, we are yet again on a Saturday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. We'll be listening for your glow-in-the-dark tube radios, those classic radios from 1958 to 1978 and beyond or before. And where is my list? Oh, way over here on the other table. I'm also coordinating a show on the FM radio tonight. So I'm on tape on the FM, and I'm live on the AM. That is a first for me in 35 years. The date is March 28th, and we will, as they say, commence to begin with the directed net roll call. Stay tuned, because the glow-in-the-dark radios will be coming in after that in about 30 minutes. Looking for SWL 00. And that is, I'm waiting for response. That is Mr. JT. So if I was to click on the appropriate item here, and by the way, he was on Old Radio Night tonight with my absolutely favorite tube radio, the Regency Imperial, the radio that, my first tube radio that I purchased in 1972, and the tube radio that I used way long ago when we started gathering on Channel 11, talking on our old tube radios. Checking in from COVID-19 control in the Wasama Swamp. Yeah, swamp conditions are not real good for the virus, I think. You've been swabbed. The world's longest ground rod has tested negative for the virus. 00, as I am also urging you all to stay safe. Thanks, JT, for the check-in and the show tonight. SWL1 getting the cosmic check-in. SWL2, Mr. OBP, who is out there beaconing in. He's over on the video side. Hello, Kevin. $5. This is my $5 suit tonight, if that's what you're referring to. I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for checking in. SWL3. SWL4. Shortwave listener number 5. SWL6. SWL7. SWL13. Checking the digital check-ins. It's a good way to check in if you can't make it on the air, to go to oldtuberadio.net and check in over there. Also, you can leave a note on the Old Tube Radio Facebook page, and I will see it and get you checked in. SWL14. SWL15. SWL16. no better place to shelter in place than the Radio Shack, I think. SWL 18. I've got to check in for Mikey from Facebook. KDA is checked in. SWL 19. Shortwave listener 20.
Number 20 here. I'm back. Anyway, check in 2954 and 135.
I will do that. Boy, you are really loud tonight. Good to have you back in the Radio Shack, and I take it you are feeling well. So if you feel up to it, we will be listening for your radio stations beaconing through later on.
Well, I'm feeling a little better than I was a little while ago, considering. Okay, I will probably be back later, but I'll be inside and listening on the web there. Take care. We'll be back.
Yeah, a great place to do it. oldtuberadio.net on your computer or phone or your Crystal radio set. I'm not sure if it worked too well on the Crystal radio set. You can give it a try, though. The guy that got it started off as 00 SWL 21 up there in the Wasama, one of those swamps. You say Wasama and I say Wasama. It's all South Carolina to me. Take a polish rag to that Imperial, JT. Keep it nice looking for the next time you put it on the air. Over to SWL 22. And then, let's see, let's 23 Skidoo. Mitch, I know he is listening in, checking in from the beach. One of those beaches where social distancing means one wave, one surfer. No crashing in. You're not allowed to hang 12. The CDC said that is not a good thing to do. Well, hopefully you are staying safe there, Mitch. I've got you checked in. Let me see who else is on the big list tonight. Starting in the front row, hello to Hermosa Beach, Fresno, Anoka, Minnesota, who is joining us yet again. Right down there, right down in the footlights. Very close to the door over to the green room. Not sure what the Jingle Singers are up to tonight. Hello to New York, Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina, Colorado. The trio from British Columbia and Squamish listening in. Hello to Boulder Creek, California. There's San Francisco, Hendersonville, Tennessee coming up to you. Hello to Auberry, Fayetteville, North Carolina, Tulare, Toll House in California, Canby, Oregon. I think that's Bill out there. Hello to Mesa, Arizona. We don't get too many Arizona stations listening in. When we have the good short skip, sometimes you guys can hear us over the air, as they can in Meade, Washington. Hello to the UK, also South Carolina. A couple of stations there. Other Colorado stations, the unknown SWL. Those are the stations that wear the paper bags over their heads, so they will be anonymous but great. And hello to our station that tunes in from out there in Riverside. Somewhere off the 90 or the 15 or the 10 or the 71 or whatever all those freeways that run around that area are. Continuing on with the roll call. SWL 24. Yeah, a home and on the air and sounding good with the X and the square. Thanks for listening. SWL 25.
It is 25 checking in.
And we have you checked in as well. Thanks. Then we turn the page over to SWL 27, who checked in moments ago on the crossband 2-meter radio. I remembered to turn it on, have it on the right frequency, have the drive control up, the microphone gain ready to go, and I think you heard me give him a confirmation. But if not, I'm getting you now, Dwayne. Thanks. SWL 28. A proxy check-in for SWL 29. Is the YouTube stream working? Let me see. I thought I had it running in another window here. Let me see if I can get it. Waving to myself. Okay, I am. You might have to reset the browser or something like that. I'm not sure what happened, if it's doing something. Sometimes if I set a time for it and I don't set the time just right, the little electrons get confused if you load it before the time it says it's supposed to start. Go figure on that one. But it looks like I can get the video confirmation here, so it might be happening. Where are we at? 28, and we got a proxy check-in for SWL 29, and a check-in maybe for SWL 30. A check-in for sure for SWL 31. Robert and Teresa staying safe, I hope, out there in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Next, we go to SWL 32. SWL 33 is myself, Bozo Control, the Jingle Singers who are somewhere. Why did we not hear from them? I mean, maybe we can do right now. This is sort of our time to check in. Where are they? All right. They are gathered around the microphonium. Let's see if I have all the controls set so they can do what they do best here.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Loud and clear. Thanks, gang. Maybe even too loud. SWL 34. SWL 35, I will see what is up. What is happening tonight in Cheyenne? And there is Mr. Bill just moments ago, waving a hand, saying hello from Wyoming. Let's try SWL 36. SWL 37.
37, good evening, Dennis.
Good evening. You are sounding good. I'm putting the X in the square.
Good. That's real good.
Then let's try SWL 38. SWL 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40, furiously consuming antioxidants and special herbal teas for preparing for the attack of the corona.
All right. Well, better prepared than not. So do the safe distancing thing, and like I said, keep the immune system up and running. I'm getting a couple reports that the video is not happening tonight. I see right now we have 19 viewers. What would be the best way to do it? I don't. Oh, you know what? The other thing, it's showing that it's unlisted. So I wonder if my link. I wonder if my link is faulty. What I'll do is I will. How can I do that? Let me resend. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to resend the link, if I can do that, which would be this. I'll do it. I'll do it on the air. We'll do it live. And I'm going to go to the link. Oh, there's no link. That's interesting. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. We want to go to the embedded video. Let's see. If I do this, you know what? If I do this, it's going to knock everybody off. But I may try this. If you are currently on the video and it goes away, just recheck the link. So I'm going to clear the current link. I'm going to add the new link, and then I'm going to submit and send that over. And there it is. So anybody that's not getting the video, try the link at the oldtuberadio.net page, and hopefully, if you were actually watching the link, it didn't get thrown off. Looks like not. All right. So much for technical stuff. Technical stuff on the radio. Next is SWL 41. And that is Road Dog 507. Don't see him on video or the radio side. There is X4000 is checking in over. Beaconing in. I think what happened is he beaconed in on the wrong satellite. And I had a big delay on the X4000 check-in. But the X4000 is there. Let's try SWL 42. SWL 43.
Good evening, Dennis. 43, we're in here tonight.
Boy, sounding good. Nice audio. Good signal into net control tonight. And Crazy Eddie has got the X in the square over.
Yeah, I did some changing around trying to get that receive up, but no luck.
Okay, well, you've got your transmitter good. Don't touch the thing on the transmit side for sure.
Roger. Have a fine evening.
Then X4000, I think that is your number. X4000. It's on page 19 of my 4-page list. Next, let's see, is it live or is it Memorex? SWL 44. Hey, it is live. Hello, Mr. 360. Hope everything is good around the homestead up there. Over. All right, good to hear you on the airwaves. MSA Radio. Oh, you know what? The Echolink, thanks for reminding me. Things got busy this week because I worked two jobs, and they're both the kind that don't stop for all the craziness going on. In fact, they actually get a lot more intense. So I've kind of been ramping up on that front and haven't had much time to to do much of anything. But I'm here tonight, and we will check in radios because that's a good thing. Let's try SWL 45.
Sounds good tonight, Dennis. 45.
Yes, and you are too, Paul. Hope you and Kelly are doing the safe thing up there, and we'll be checking in some radios tonight.
You bet.
Yeah, I've got in fact, let me see if I can put the video up. I've been playing around with the new modulation meter. How do I put that up? If you are watching the video or over on the other side, let's see, I would go to this camera, which would be that one. And there it is. So I have sort of tried to been peaking. I wonder how the delay on the video works with this. I've been peaking and tweaking on the signals here to see if indeed we can achieve something close to 100% modulation and keep those negative peaks in the asymmetry in a good mode of operation. So we will see what happens. Occasionally, we might go to the modulation cam for no particular reason whatsoever. Back to the roll call. And who's next? SWL 46. SWL 47.
From the Radio Lounge, good evening, sir, and all the other SWL listeners. 47.
47. Sounding good. Everybody sounds good tonight. You know what? I think I have the headphones turned up louder. If that's what it takes to make everybody sound good, I will suffer a little bit of a headache with too much audio. You are sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, sir.
And you like the meters? Yes. MSA Radio. That is exactly, I think, the guy that makes it that creates that as a ham, and it does look like the analog Gates meters, also like the RCA meters on some of the BC consoles. So I think that was done on purpose to get all the old old geezers like me to say, hey, that's cool. I want that. Even though they are virtual, has done a pretty good job of making them work quite nicely. Over to SWL 48. SWL 49.
Hello, Dennis. Hello to everyone on the net tonight. 49er is checking in. Again, just a quick hello. Hope everyone is staying healthy and safe and having a good evening. Thanks for the check-in.
We are going to try to do that. I've completed almost all of those, and we'll try and make it a good evening through 10 o'clock. Great audio as always, nice signal, and hope all is going well at the homestead there. Thanks for checking in.
Hello, hello. I think that was Ray. Hey, good to hear you, Ray. Have a good evening, man.
Next, we have SWL 50. SWL 51.
51, checking in.
305 near Sangertown, checking in to the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks, Dave. SWL 52. Aaron sometimes checks in on the video. If indeed he's able to see it tonight, I will keep an eye out on that. Hopefully, when I reset it, it didn't knock everybody. I still have some people watching, so that's okay. Next is SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. 53, checking in.
We have you, Bob. We've got the X and the square. Thanks for listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. The Old Tube Radio Network, where real radios will be glowing in the dark after the direct net roll call here in about 15 minutes, if I didn't say so before. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers here throughout the years, sitting in the air chair tonight, awaiting and anticipating what cool radios will be popping by tonight. Will we get a Regency Imperial? That will be interesting. That was the radio featured on Old Radio Night tonight. See if we can actually hear one coming through the other way. The Cosmic Check-In, as we can do and will do for SWL 54. Up we go to SWL 55.
55 checking in, Dennis. I've refreshed it like 9 times and opened 3 different pages. The oldtuberadio.net is working just fine, but the YouTube is not.
All right, I will have to check a setting, because I resent the link and it did show a different picture on the first one. You know what? Not just say that. Let's see if I can. And when I click on it, it goes through. So I wonder if it's a flash thing or if there's some wacky. Let's see. I just re-upped YouTube. That concerns me because I don't know what setting would be bad, or if it's one of those things that works for Chrome and it doesn't work for. Oh, that would be it. That would be the browser. It's working. I have Chrome, so it's working on Chrome, but I haven't checked like Firefox and some of the other ones. That could be the issue too. So my apologies for the technical difficulties on the video. We hope not to have technical difficulties on the radio. That's the main thing. And we've got you checked in. Thanks for the update. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56 with no technical difficulties.
There are no technical difficulties. When you work with Steam and Gears and all that stuff that's tried and true, you know, all that stuff that worked before it went invisible and digital, you know you will not have technical difficulties. Thanks for checking in. SWL 57. Brown Dog Audio usually checks in video. I hope he is not one of the ones that's experiencing the difficulties tonight. Maybe what I'll do is the stations that usually check in video that aren't there, I will give them proxy check-ins as they are clawing. They're clawing at their video screens trying to get in the Old Tube Radio Network. Who is next? SWL 58.
58 checking in, Dennis. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. And now back to the big contest. Thanks for doing the net, Dennis.
Yeah, the big contest. Don't go away. What, is it WPX? Is that what's going on?
This is the CQ Magazine WPX contest this weekend, and you wouldn't think the solar cycle was down because everybody in America is on the airwaves.
Yeah, the bands are, I think sometimes if you get enough RF out there, it excites the ionosphere and the ozone layer and things happen. I was listening into 20 meters earlier today, and like you said, it's times of old where you just rotate the VFO and there seems to be a station at every, 3 kilohertz spacing. That's off the Stardust. There's some really loud signals. I didn't hear much on 40, but 20 was hopping. So you are 5'9", and you are my number one in the contest.
Thank you for number one. Now we're just waiting to see the Northern Lights show up here from all the RF. Thanks, Dennis.
Jeremy out there. Let's see, 58. Next is SWL 59. And MSA Radio, I agree. It will be. 10 will open up, and when it does, I think we should maybe gather at 29085. I know that's kind of in between the spacing that they do on the 10 a.m., but maybe the day after, like on Sunday afternoons when 10 a.m. is open, we'll all of us who can will jump up on 29085 and see if we can get some YAM contacts. Let's try SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening time to the SWLs. Let's get Big Jake's base checked in, the Galaxy DX2527.
It is checked in. It is sounding good. It's on the archive and beaconing worldwide at oldtuberadio.net. Thanks for checking in. SWL 61.
61 checking in, Dennis.
All right, like clockwork, Dean, we've got you checked in. Over. And SWL 62.
Good time, Dennis. This is 662 checking in from downtown Clovis. How are we doing tonight?
I am doing well. How about yourself, over?
Doing real well. I'm staying hidden out from everybody. I know I'm not going to get anything tonight from you guys.
No, we are doing the safe thing. Radio is the original social distancing, so it is definitely safe to tune in the Old Tube Radio tonight.
All righty, we'll see you next week.
All right, we will be here. Let's see. I'm going to try something. Ray said, "Is it possible to post a link?" Let me see if I can actually copy and paste. We'll do that. I will give it a test. Maybe. No, it's not going to do that. But anyway, Ray, check your reply mail there on the main page and see if that's actually a link that works. If that is, maybe I can post it all around. It's not letting me check it out here. 62 is in. Let me confirm that. Over to SWL 63. Bubba and all the ladies and or gentlemen in the state of New York. Stay safe out there. New York is getting clobbered, I know, with cases of the novel corona. Let's go over to SWL 64. SWL 65.
65 checking in.
And 65 is checking in. Hello, Eric. We've got you checked in. Over.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay. 65 is in. SWL 66. SWL 67. That is Bill. I'm putting an X in the square because I do see on the list of items here Canby, Oregon. Beaconing in on the digital side. So, Bill, we've got you checked in. How about SWL 68? And SWL 69, that is Kenny out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He checked in last week, and he will probably be watching the video replay again this week. And I'm checking out. June 16th, 2014. That is that is not even close. All right, we got 69 checked in. I just was able to check that link, Ray, and it's not, I have no idea what that is. That's the one they gave me. It's not even close. Here's one that says copy video URL. We'll try that one. Let's see, 67, 68, 69, SWL 70.
Hello, Dennis. Hope you're doing well, sir. And, hey, Bill. Shout out to Bill out there in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Yeah, he will appreciate that for sure. Maybe delayed, but it will get to its intended recipient. Thanks for checking in, and thanks for checking me in, I should say. Next, we go to SWL 71. Won't let me paste this link. Oh, wait, well, let's see. Let's try that. Before we do that, let me see if I go to that link, if it's the right item of interest. If I go to that link, hey, if it's the right item of interest. I hear an echo. If I go to that link, hey, if it's the right item of interest. I hear an echo. All right, I think I have found the link, so I will post it at the top of the page here in just a moment. Let's see, SWL 71, who is patiently waiting. This is worse than being in the contest. He is also working the CQ WPX contest. Stan, I knew you were there. You are a good contester. And as Jeremy stated, a lot of activity this year. So thanks for jumping in here on the 11-meter side. And if it's hopping, if 20 is still in, or you're up on, probably down on 75, right? 75 and 40, making some contacts. You will be my, let's see, Stan, you are my number 2 in the contest, and we've got you checked in. And there is the post at the top of the comments page. There is the link to what I believe is the proper YouTube video. Why it's not showing up and embedding properly, I don't know. It also says it's unlisted, which shouldn't be the case. But I believe that is the link. Someone can kind of confirm if it actually goes there, if indeed you even want to fool with the video, because radio is a good way to go. Radio is a good thing. Sometimes when you add pictures to radio, it gets very confusing. We've got Stan checked in. How about SWL 72? SWL 73. Yeah, waiting for the mix. Don't like the mix, but that is link. Thank you, 44. It took me a while. It took my little non-technical brain a little while to figure this one out. SWL 74. I should be checking in 74, as I was told. And I will do that. Ms. Julia's checked in. SWL 75. SWL 77. And Richard in Everett, Washington, SWL 78. Hello to our new stations tuning in from Fresno, Visalia, and Moore Park in California. I'm not sure if I've ever been to Moore Park. I probably zipped near it on one of the freeways down there, over there, but I don't know if I've ever stopped and done anything in Moore Park. SWL 79.
79, checking in.
Sounding most good. We've got you checked in. Thanks, DC. And then SWL 80. And DDX Ray says, it's working. Yes, it is. All right, thanks. See if we get any stations that would like to be on there. Page 4, the Patient People radio's coming up. Don't go away. SWL 81. SWL 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Iowa. Good evening, Dennis.
And good evening. I know it's a little bit hard to wipe down and disinfect the ditch banks without, getting things dirty. But I know you are doing a good job, and you are also sounding good. We've got you checked in.
All right, thanks, Dennis. We're being safe.
What do they say? Better safe than sorry, I think. Radio, who's next? SWL 84.
84 there, Dennis. And good evening to all the SWLs out there. And 84 checking in. And if you can get my girls in at the appropriate time, I'd really, really appreciate it there. Roger.
I can do that. Your AM radio is sounding good. Thanks for getting me checked in on Wednesday night. I will take this moment just to let people know that there is, for the SWLs and those close by and those in the skip zone on Wednesday evenings, Pacific Daylight Time at 8 p.m. on frequency 28445 upper sideband. Central California 10-meter net, kind of a check-in roundtable thing, nothing too serious, but if you'd like to join us, please do. Jerry, SWL 84, that you just heard, is one of the net controllers. He checked me in Wednesday. And when I can, I try and stream it on the oldtuberadio.net stream so you can listen in if you don't hear us. So that's what's going on there. Thanks for checking in, and I will get everybody else over.
Roger. And I'll warm something up over here if it kind of lightens up a little bit and breaking the action. We'll see if we can get one fired up and rocking and rolling. Appreciate it there, Dennis A84.
Okay, thanks for that. And, okay, Brown Dog Audio's in. Yeah, I figured there was probably a lot of people that are using whatever link wasn't working or isn't functioning on for the video. So got you checked in, and Ray was smart enough to say, hey, find the link and post it, which I did because I have it beaconing in front of me here. It's like why it's not going out, I don't know. And some people can get it, some people can't. So that is the link over at oldtuberadio.net for the video site, and I'll see if there's something broken. There's always something broken. So thanks for checking in there. 57. Next we have SWL 85. And then check-ins, of course, for the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, 86, 87, and 88, looking for SWL 89. SWL 90. SWL 92. SWL 93 checked in earlier as the net started, so I would get Louis checked in. SWL 98.
Checking in, Dennis.
SWL 98 to Fresno Dave 544 is checked in. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, Ray, you've confirmed what I see on the video. It says it's unlisted. So it's for some reason it's showing up as unlisted. I may have a setting that I need to change, and when it's unlisted, that's probably what happens. When it shows up as unlisted, whatever link is supposed to be sent out, it keeps it from being sent out. So I'll go into the depths of YouTube and find out what stupid thing got changed from their new rules that I have to check a box and say, yes, I'm going to do this, or no, I'm not going to do this. All right. So that's what it is. It's because it's showing up unlisted. So those are looking for the links won't go out. Don't you love it? Getting into triple digits. Let's try SWL 103. SWL 109. Shortwave listener 110. SWL 111. SWL 113. Hey, 111 with a wave. Listening in, beaconing in. Sometimes I'll hear you pre-show, pre-net, tuning up and sounding good, but tonight I was sort of in and out of the room because of the other radio show going on, and so if you were there, I missed you, but I bet I would have heard you. So you are checked in, Robert, who is being safe at home. I've seen the pictures. Next, we have SWL 114.
114, checking in.
And that is a really loud station in my headphoniums. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Then we've got SWL 128. Mr. John Lee, I believe I saw him beaconing on the big board. Let me scroll down and find out what is happening. I missed all sorts of stuff here. I've got to check. And there you are. He's 10-8. He's 10-8 and smoking, maybe, from Fairfax. Thank you. You were one of the first ones to check in, as was Robert. I don't. Boy, there's a lot of video comments that I've missed. I will catch up on that for sure. Next is SWL 131. SWL 133. And I'm going to check in Dave. Dave, if you're listening, I just can't hear you on 11 meters anymore, but believe it or not, as I was SWLing, being the masked SWL today on 20 meters, I heard you on 20 meters in the WPX contest, working the contest. I could just barely hear you, and of course the station you were talking to was even louder than you were. But that's the way these things work. So 133, Dave is also a ham and also a contester on the Doing Things Tonight. So if you're listening, Dave, I heard you on 20 meters, believe it or not. I'm checking you in. Let's try SWL 135. SWL 130. I'm supposed to proxy in 135. I'll do that. If you're listening, Harvey, I got 135 in. And who else was I supposed to get? Anyway, I've got all the ones you said. They will show up officially. Lest I get demerits. If you get demerits from SWL 20, that is a bad thing. Next is SWL 137. From Course Gold, SWL 145.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and my fellow page 4 SWLs. Tony and Course Gold, I just like to say I'm glad they're finally coming out with a way to test the coronavirus quicker, because I got tested on the 16th, didn't find out till the 27th. I didn't think I had it, but I'm glad to report the test result was negative, but just the waiting was kind of frustrating.
Wow, yeah, it's supposed to be a lot quicker than that, but sounds like you were one of the first ones to get a test in the area, so it probably took them a while to figure out what to do and where to go and all that. So as things progress, it should be getting a little bit easier and a little bit quicker. So thanks for being the beta test guy for us and let us know that it actually does work. And you are sounding great, and I've got you checked in. Over.
All right, Dennis, thank you. Yeah, I'm still having troubles on Wednesday night. Still got stuff checking out to do on my radio, Roger.
Indeed. I was there Wednesday. I don't remember if I heard you or not, but you certainly sound good on AM.
All right, thank you. Everybody take care out there, and have a great day tomorrow.
Radio's coming right up. I want to say hello to SWL 147. Neil and Kakalaki, who is also a ham. I don't know if you're hanging out and doing contesting. About 3-hour opening from Louisiana to Mississippi and East Texas on the 1110 meter skib. Making some contacts. Weather in the high 80s. Holy cow. It is cold here, so we're sending cold your way. And he says, to all stay safe and healthy. 147. Thanks for jumping into the radio room tonight. Let's see what's happening on the Bob and Steve show. I have been remiss in seeing what's going on with the Jingle Singers, trying to get through the roll call here so we can get radios checked in. It's a lockdown. I knew it. I thought maybe it was just me. Snow White and Humpty Dumpty, like the new house in the fish tank with the Starduster antenna. I noticed they put the little Starduster in there, and it's a little higher. I have trouble closing the top. I had to move one of the little plants to get the top down. Plus, I like, last week you put in the little red church. It's also a nice addition. And I went, the next day, Sunday morning, I went to services in the little red church down in the fish tank, and they sounded something like this. Sinners, repent. So tomorrow I will put on my scuba gear when I go into the little red church. Bob and Steve, thanks. Yes, we have the official OTR shirt. I always forget my number, but I just can look into the jacket and know how to check myself in. Let's head up to Course Gold, SWL 195. Good evening, sir. It goes without saying to stay safe, and I know you are, and we will catch you next week. Got you checked in. Over to SWL 226. And anybody else that I may have missed in my wackiness trying to get all these things to work around here? All right, we will go to the video side. Let's see, somebody wanted to see the meters again. That's on this other camera, which is over on this page. And then we go to, what do we do? There it is. That is the, what is it, W3QIX? But every AM station should have this. You need a scope, and you need a monitor that looks at your positive peaks and negative peaks. I'm probably, even though I'm peaking up, over 100%, but it's asymmetrical. Probably getting as close as I can to 100% modulation with this radio, which is hard to do because it's not the greatest radio. Then you have your negative peaks, which you really don't want to go over 100. So I've got the light set at 98. So it'll occasionally peak up past that, but it looks pretty good. It works well. If I don't have it queued up, if I had, maybe I'll find one. If I had a 1 kilohertz tone, you could see the scope action a little bit better. I can't do a good tone. Yeah, see, I got sawtooth. All right, enough playing with the video. And who was it? Somebody said it looked like an Optimod back there. Oh, MSA. You know what? You are correct. Indeedy do. It is an old throwaway from analog television of 30 years ago. Let me see if we can make the high-frequency lights go off. Shh, shh, shh. Yeah, there it is. There's high-frequency lights. All right, so enough of that. Radios are next. We'll be right back.
Impressive with this tie and suit tonight. Anyway, looks good, Dennis.
This could actually be the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by OTR. Brought to you by 27.085 megahertz. Brought to you by RADI. The Old Tube Radio Network.
RADIO, the Old Tube Radio Network. Thank you, Mr. Freeberg and X4000 and all the jingle singers for getting us up and running and starting here with the Tube Radio check-ins on the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. We hope tonight the video, a few problems with the link. Maybe I'll send that link again, but it is on the oldtuberadio.net page. And it sounded like, I thought I heard Christopher in there, 38 or 37. Watching the video tonight. Let me get the full camera. This is the official what has become the official Old Tube Radio jacket, since it's probably from Sears. It's a Sears sucker. I'm the sucker that bought it at Sears from about 1962 or something. It was probably good. And we have the official, there it is, the official SWL 33 shirt. So this has sort of become at least my uniform for net control tonight. Speaking of which, we will say OTR standing by, looking for radio number 1.
45.
And I hear 45. Let's just get started. I'm taking too much time here blabbing tonight. 8:54. Step up into the air chair, Paul. Anybody else that wants to check in, just hang on. We'll get you in a moment. But I want to get at least one radio before the top of the hour. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, somebody else in there, too. I hope you want me now. My turn now, Dennis?
It is your turn, Paul. Over.
Oh, you'll be stronger than I am, for sure, in there. Sound like maybe skip in. Anyway, I'd like to check in my Demco Satellite Deluxe with power modulator.
It has been a while since we have had anything with the Demco. Now, you said the satellite, there's a super satellite. I'm looking to see if I can get the right picture. Demco Satellite, Deluxe Satellite Transmitter. Not available. Satellite base station. I'm going to put something up, and actually none of them are showing up. So, okay, even more technical difficulties. Let me go to the Deluxe Satellite Transmitter and see if indeed I actually have a picture of that. And looks like that's not working either. All right, well, you know what? Give us a transmission. We don't have to see the radio. We can hear it. Say something over.
Okay. Demco Satellite Base Station. Bring that up. That should put you right
on. He knows the stuff better than I do. Okay, Demco Satellite Base Station. And we do that. And look at that. You are the master of stuff. There's the radio. All right, now that we can see it, we can also hear it. That is a beautiful piece of machine. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, that was easy. If I just went down at the beginning, you wouldn't have had that phone when I said that. By the way, I like your REA. That is pretty darn nice. Actually, see how it sounds already. This right here, I think it's a little bit down, but it's playing pretty good. Back to you.
Yeah, well, I'm just now trying to figure it out and what works good, and with this radio, it's very hard to get 100% modulation. And then, like now, when I have a drop in my audio for some reason, which just happened, I can see how to fix it. Okay, there is the Demco satellite radio. If I put it in there, you have a little oscillation coming through the audio. I'm not sure what is causing that, but otherwise your audio is sounding good, nice and loud. Over.
Okay, well, it's probably me. I'll probably back off now. It should be a lot better on the thing. Couple flaps off it look like to me. Anyway, I'll go through the thing real fast. This is the Demco Satellite Deluxe with power modulator in the thing. Model SPM-4 is the modulator. This thing is manufactured in 1966. A 3-piece, 23-channel AM/CB radio. It has crystal control transmitter. The receiver is 23-channel crystal control. Plus, it has a 23-control VFO on it. It has the whole. It's a big radio. I'll tell you, it's got lights and knobs on the thing. It's really fantastic. All you have to do is look at the lights. It tells you right above it what they do. Everything is real self-explanatory. Demco made a heck of a nice machine here. Anyway, it's got a modulator built into the speakers. It's
17 total tubes, 16 knobs, switches, and 13 lights in the 3 pieces. There's a plug in the front control switch for ground train, and this control switch for a beam. All kinds of goodies in this thing, Dennis. What I finish out is it's measures 3 foot long, and I'm using a D104 non-amplified back on the thing. I hope to straighten out a little bit now.
Sounding okay. I've still got audio issues here. Let me try something. 1, 2. Wow. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry about that. I blasted them out of the chair. Yeah, there still has a little bit of an oscillating thing happening. I'm not sure what's causing that. I was going to ask you what microphone you're using, but you told me the D104, and it's not amplified. I don't know if it's getting a mismatch on the modulator or not, which is pretty cool. Being built into the speaker, I remember seeing them as a standalone unit, which you could buy and use on any radio, but this one built into the matching cabinet. And the speaker from Demco, as you said, 1966. The price on this shows at $395. I guess that was sort of the top of the price range. Browning was right at that price. I think the Trams were up there at that price. So maybe once you put a 4 in front of your radios in 1966, people would say, no, I'm gonna go buy a television or a used auto or something. I just couldn't justify the expense. I'm going to say with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 13 knobs and a couple of dials. It takes, you just don't sit down at that radio and turn it on. It takes a little bit of pre-driving to get ready to go. Over.
Yeah, okay, well, it's got a lot of knobs. Like I say, everything is self-explanatory on the thing. I probably said that already, too. I've backed up some more on this microphone. The control on the inside is frozen, so I have a little trouble adjusting things. We'll figure it out eventually. That helped when I backed up a little bit.
It's about the same for the oscillation. The other issue, do you normally use that microphone only with that radio or some other radios? It sounds like you might have a bad element or something. It's not as, the intelligibility is not as clear as I've heard on other radios. And I'm not sure. Sometimes that's just a function of the microphone itself. I'm thinking the modulator is doing what it's supposed to do because it's nice and loud. The radio certainly is putting out a good carrier, so no problem there. When you listen to the playback, you will hear what I'm talking about on the slight oscillation, and then you could probably decide on the clarity or not, if that could be a microphone thing. But I'm basically really glad that we have a Demco. It has been probably a couple of months. Is it JT has a bell? He is probably ringing the Demco bell right now, which we haven't been able to do, I think, since 2020 started. Over.
Yeah, okay. Well, I look forward to checking it out, I guarantee you, Ron, and listen to it. There's no more adjustment on this thing as far as adjusting the mic. It's not regulated. It's not a power mic. So anyway, it'd be something to work on. At least it's better than last week. It wasn't even work last week. So I'm getting ahead of things, Dennis. Back to you.
Hey, not a problem. I appreciate the fact that there's a Demco on the air. 21 JT is ringing the Demco bell. First thing he had to do was disinfect it and then take the dust off of it, because I know it has not been able to ring at all in 2020. So the first ringing of the Demco bell here on the 28th of March. Thanks for that. And YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So I don't know. I've blown something up here tonight. The radio is still working. I wonder if I got too many things open monitoring. We will see. But in the meantime, give us one more transmission before you go. It is Radio 1. It is the Demco satellite base station. Over.
Dennis. Yeah, okay. Somebody else is still in there. It might be Harvey. I don't know. Got a pretty loud station. Is that you, Harvey?
Yeah. Did you crank down the gain on the modulator?
Yeah, you're better and worse than I am. I kind of hardly understand you. Come back on that.
Ask him to crank down the gain on the modulator.
I turned the gain down.
Okay, take a transmission, Paul. Let's see where the gain is at. See if you got it right. Over.
I'll turn the gain all the way up to the top, to the high point. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference on the meter, but yeah. Anyway, did it make any difference at all when you did that?
Yeah, right there, where you have it right now is good. The oscillation has gone over.
Okay, thank you very much. That's wonderful. That's an easy fix. Thanks, Dennis. Good should have been. Back to you. Oh, by the way, I think it's a KC or so high on the meter, so you might check that out too if you have a chance.
All right, I will do that. Oh, I think the video is back. So, yeah, it's good. Where you have it now, I'm going to have you take one more transmission. The oscillation is gone. When you turn it all the way up, that is indeed, thank you, Harvey, that is indeed what's causing a little bit of oscillation feedback, if you will. The position you have it in now, the oscillation is gone, and I think the loudness, if you will, is about right. So give us one more transmission so that you can, if you're listening to the playback, you will be able to hear what it sounds like. Over.
Thanks, Harvey. Send me a bill. That's all I say. When checking that thing, I had some major problems with it earlier and got it going, and that's something I didn't adjust back after the old mark, and that's probably what happened, and so I had to change it all around. I'm going to make another mark going over. Thanks again, Harvey. I hope I was on there long enough.
Hey, Dennis, you got the 2 meter up?
Yes, I do. Over.
Well, I made a couple comments. I don't know if you heard me.
Well, I didn't check to see if the antenna was still upright. And let's see. I may have the volume low. I heard Dwayne earlier. So we will see. Sometimes when I have both ears covered with the headphoniums, I don't hear anything. And I had it last week. I had it patched through the audio board. And I took it out for some reason. I thought, no, I'm not going to be doing that tonight. And, of course, I would be doing that tonight. So, yeah, anytime you try, give it a try, and I'll kind of be listening for comments. But as always, I know you have to run out to the radio room. Thanks for doing that. A little more convenient to make the comment on the 2 meter side. But your efforts worked well, and we have solved our problem.
Okay. I'll let you get back to the show there, and yeah, it's a problem with his mic cord and the cord, the mic cables going from the modulator in and out and all that. They're old, and you can't crank up the modulator all the way. Sometimes you can only get it up to about half, and we never changed the cables. Okay, let you go. Bye.
All right, thanks, Paul. If you heard that, you've got it good, and just it's a little persnickety, but you've got the controls right. Thanks for bringing it by.
37.
All right, very good. 2 stations in, I hear 37. Stand by 1, Chris. Who was the other station? I know they faded out. I went for having conditions. Somebody said they were talking 2 stations. Richard, 78. Hello, 78. I'll get you checked in if I haven't already. Lake Elsinore working 2 stations on 10 meters today from Brazil and other things. So who was the breaking station? All right, might be Skip. Chris, step up into the air chair. Over.
Okay, I'm up in the chair. Anyway, Dennis, I would like to check in my Chris 23 Plus CB transceiver. We are running this here with the original handheld stock microphone. Over.
Chris 23 Plus. Let me bring up a picture of that, which I know I have. Looks like the video is up and running again. For those who are playing with the video this week, in fact, it was Friday, a bevy of 6 AT&T trucks surrounded my my QTH here and knocked on the door, and they had to go out into the back lot, and they found that a squirrel had chewed through the fiber cables, but it was on the other side of where my fiber stuff is. And so they spent all morning fixing it, quote unquote, fixing it. And then at some point at the end of their fix, none of my stuff worked. And then all of my stuff did. So maybe they're not quite done. Maybe I'll have to do a speed test. Maybe I'm not getting the internet whammo speed that I'm supposed to have to make all this audio and video stuff work. There is the Chris 23 Plus on your video. Give us a transmission and we'll match up the audio.
Well, yeah, that's what this looks like, just like that one right there, Dennis, I have to admit. But, yeah, that was mine, and like I said, we're running here totally stock over.
Stock radio, it's a good way. That is the one of the Panasonic AM plate modulated chassis of the day, 11 tubes. I'm looking at the thing. They don't have as much fancy stuff as the T123B did on the Robin. So maybe the Chris was the budget model. I don't know, but it certainly doesn't sound like it has budget audio over. It sounds good.
Well, thank you, Dennis. All I know is I look at the meters here and it shows it's working. It's showing the modulation meter jumping, so it's doing what it's supposed to over.
Yes, it is. And Robert says 31. The alarm just went off. 71. The tornado alarm. He must have one of the NOAA weather radios. Stay safe out there. 31. Checking out. Don't want tornadoes. We don't need tornadoes in addition to everything else we have. Radio number 2, you are listening to the Chris 23 Plus from 1972, 3, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. It will run 12-volt DC if you have the proper cable. You can find out more about it if you have a Sam's PhotoFax CB45. And it appears that there is an operator's manual at oldtuberadio.com. So you're covered all the way around.
Yep, I do believe so. Thank you, Dennis. I'll be back with another.
All right, thanks for that. We missed the jingle singers at the top of the hour. Let me do that right now, and then we will pick up any more stations that would like to do their thing.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And we are looking for radio number 3.
Well, can I go ahead and be number 3? Over.
Yeah, you can be number 3. I did actually hear something on the 2-meter radio. I have my audio. I had my audio adjusted for Dwayne, and obviously I need to put some more AF gain on the 2-meter side, which I will. It requires me to reach over a bunch of stuff to get to the audio gain control, so give me time so I don't break something else. Tell us about Radio 3, Christopher, over.
Okay, well, you can light this one up on your screen there. This is the G PowerMate, the GEM Marine Products, the pretty blue radio. We're running here also with the amplified D104 Lollipop over.
The amplified D104. Let me find the GEM Marine G PowerMate, which I think is the same chassis as the radio you were just on, believe it or not. So if you've ever ventured to look down the top through the convection cooling vents, you might notice things look quite a bit the same, over.
Yeah, they do. Actually, like if I look at my Chris 23 here, about the same too.
As well it should be, because they are the same radio. This one has, let's see, PRF. It's got an extra light, extra meter. So this is probably the next step up. Maybe this is a bit of a more deluxe than the Chris 23 Plus. Audio sounds good. It certainly isn't lacking in that department, over.
Well, thank you. I'm glad it does sound good, over.
And I am glad too. So we're marking it down as radio number 3 at 9:13 tonight. Back to you.
Okay, Dennis, I'll be back with another.
All right, and I will be listening, the Old Tube Radio Network. All right, let me answer some questions while I have a chance here. Assuming there are some questions that need to be answered. Tornado alarm. Yeah, the Demco modulator is blowing my stuff up. Lafayette used the chassis also. Thanks, MSA. Oh, you wanted to know. You know what? Who was inquiring about the mod meter here? Do a search for REA, the initials REA modulation monitor, and that will take you to the site. I think the guy's name is Steve. And I want to say the last part of his call is QIX. It's a 3 call, but he's one of the AM guys. These things have been around for a while. And I've been wanting to get one for a long, long time, and I finally got everything. So it's software, but it comes with a couple of hardware boxes, interconnect control, and then there's different power levels. So you kind of have to choose your power level. But it does, especially if you're running AM, it gives you a good check between your negative and your positive peaks. And it's nice to have a scope. I think I would also get an actual real, not a virtual scope, but I like the fact that I can at least, and I'm amazed at how well I was doing without the scope on looking at the PEP watt meter and listening to other radios as to my controls being set almost correctly. But it would be nice to have a much better transmitter for the audio. The Old Tube Radio Network, we are looking for radio number 4. And hello, 84. I think I have you in my headphoniums. Go ahead.
Crossband.
All righty. I think I can hear Harley in the background there, but I'll make it short there, Dennis, and give him a chance here. Johnson Messenger 223. It'll be bread box. 3 Canobins and a microphone, and on a Johnson unamplified mic. Actually, it's the...
You have a crossband.
With the emblem right in the speaker grill, or I should say the mic grill. Roger.
All right, there's a Messenger 223. And what was the item in the mic grill? Over?
Well, that's the regular Johnson emblem there with the old Viking guy, kind of an ugly-looking guy there, ready to pounce on somebody there. Roger.
Okay, I got it. And we actually have the pictures we have, if I can dial up the right one here, shows that microphonium, like a Turner-style microphone with the E.F. Johnson. Okay, I guess what I should ask is, do you have the version, and I do hear the crossband, or I do hear about the crossband, which I will get set up here. There is a version with a modulation light above what appears to be the volume control, and there's a version without it. So I'm wondering which one you might have, and I'll see if I've got the right one up on the screen here.
All righty, yes indeed we do. It is amber and the color. Somebody told me quite some time ago that one of them was red or something like that at one time. This one here might have been red, but it's a real bright amber right above the volume knob in there. Roger.
All right, got it. And I am posting the right one. It's got big audio, lots of low frequencies and good signal coming in. So this is... Keep this one on the radio shelf. If somebody is looking for a first radio, trying to get into the tube thing, this would be a good one. It's got 23 channels. They always sound good when they come across. There aren't a lot of, not like the Demco that came across where you have to sit down 15 minutes and check your 3x5 cards before you fire the transmitter up. This one is pretty much ready to go, easy to use, all 23 channels, and I guess you can probably still find them okay on eBay or garage sales. They sold a lot of them. Even Sears Roebuck had a version. You might find it under an SR or Sears Roebuck label, but it's an E.F. Johnson, and it's doing good. Back to you.
Yeah, appreciate it there, Dennis. Yeah, pretty easy. In fact, just when I first got this, I got it years and years and years ago. I wasn't even paying a whole lot of attention to it. Automatically, I looked at the volume switch down there, and I thought, oh, that's the off and on switch. And of course, I was wrong. And I looked over there on the squelch, which is on the left side, and right on the bottom says off. So I thought, well, that's a new one on me, but, you know, 25, 30 years ago, you thought you knew everything there was to know about radios, and something as simple as this here had me faked out there. Roger, Roger.
Sometimes, what is it? KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, but simple is good. It sounds great. It is our radio number 4, if I remember to log it in at about 9:19. And we haven't heard, this is a good night. We haven't heard any E.F. Johnsons for a while. So that is a good addition to our mix tonight. Want to go over to you for another check-in, or for another transmission on your check-in, and then I will pick up the crossband station. Back to you.
Very good. Appreciate it there, Dennis. And the one quick thing, too, on the HF side of things there, I found my problems, and just exactly what the old man told me when I was a kid. And he said, when you think you have a major problem, and maybe it's maybe 4 or 5 little bitty small problems, making it seem that way. So ground floor and up, I pulled the radios off the bench there, and I had a bad jumper between the watt meter and the radio, and also the frequency display. It also had intermittent, you know, kind of a bad ground is what it was, and that was it. So I changed that, and actually changed both of them, and got pretty flat STVR, and it seems to be working fine. So I'm not rocking and rolling on net control there this next week. I think Mark has it, but I will be on the air. So hey, thanks, Dennis, for helping me troubleshoot, and gave me something to figure out and ponder. And I just started from the bottom and just started working up, and I found it. So thank you there, Dennis.
Perfect. Like troubleshooting on a schematic. Follow the path, right? Follow the path. Check all the stuff in between, and you did it. I'll be looking forward to hearing it on the air. Figured it had to be something not too wacky, and you definitely went about it the right way without bulldozing the house to find the leaky faucet, as it were. Radio number 4, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, Jerry at the microphonium, and it's sounding good. Other information, those sold for about $215. It says you could buy it without the E.F. Johnson mic. Might get you right at around $200 back in the day. Unlike a lot of the radios we've been checking in, that one is a base station. That means it doesn't have a 12-volt DC cord, although I suppose you could invert the power. But that was the base station made for their other twos, the Viking Whiteface, and then the Messenger 2, and then the 223, which is actually the Messenger 2 in a bigger cabinet with an S meter and all 23 channels. It is more information on Sam's PhotoFax CB23, page 53. Thanks for bringing it by. All right, and I will be right back. There was a crossband check-in or something. I'm going to check that out, and we'll be right back here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Hey, Cliff, can you hear me? Over.
Turn up your power, Dennis. We can't hear you. Turn up your output power on your 2-meter, Dennis.
Okay, that was worth the effort. That is on the 2-meter side. Haven't been able to check him in for a while, I guess due to technical difficulties on that side. Well, we'll change the proxy check-in to an X in the square for SWL 135, the Green Arrow, who, even though he might not check in audio-wise, he lives on OTR by his great photos, many of which we use when we show the radios checking in taken from his collection. But we always enjoy the fact that his attention to detail and making sure that, one, if there's any great feature of the radio, it is prominently displayed. The radios are typically on, and a lot of times they are transmitting, especially if there's something that in the transmitter that needs to be seen. So that is why I think we have some of the best photos of radios, thanks to Cliff, who just checked in. Speaking of checking in, let's listen to the Jingle Singers, and then we will be looking for... radio number 5 on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
37.
45.
All right, we have two. Paul, 45, step into the green room. I will be right with you. You will be radio 6. Paul will be radio 6, and radio number 5 as Chris steps up into the air chair. Hello, radio.
And hello, Dennis. SWL37 here. I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A. This is a 24-channel tuber that goes dark, and this one here is with the original, I guess it's original microphone, and I did say the MC11A, I hope. Yep, get it all right. And I guess that's about it. But the little man in the wheelchair up there on the Signy thing there.
It is the Super MC11A, and speaking of good-sounding radios, there's one of our pictures from the collection of 135, who is one of the stations here that also has the Super MC11A tuned to channel 11 on the green channel selector, and good stuff. So you get a lot of good comments for those watching the video that aren't used to hearing your station live and direct. A lot of good comments on the audio with that station. Give us another transmission, over.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you guys, whoever sends in the comments. And I do have to admit, this is a totally barefoot station with my antenna only, about 40 feet off the ground, and that's it. Just radio me and my linear lungs, I guess. I don't know, but I'm not screaming. I'm talking more or less normal, like Dennis. He's been here and seen it himself. So this is it. This is what you get.
And it is a good thing. The general radio telephone Super MC11A from about 1971-72, beautiful downtown Burbank when they were around doing their thing. That is a 9-tube radio. The final tube, the ECLL 800, I'm not even sure if you can get those anymore. You probably can, but that's one of the secrets, and probably the 12AX7 in the mic preamp. Give us another transmission on Radio 5. Thanks for bringing it by, and then we'll pick up Paul.
You betcha, Dennis. All right, thank you. Well, this is it for me tonight. I'm going to just sit back and listen now. So, Dennis, have a good one. I'll be listening.
All right, thanks for your participation tonight. Always good to hear the radios. Thanks for checking in. Next, let's go over to Paul up in North Fork. Hello, 45, over.
Oh, Dennis, can you hear me?
I can hear you, over.
Good. Do something here. I'll probably drop down. I'm going to check in by Robin P240D.
All right, that would be the next. We had the one. No, did we have it? No, we haven't had a Robin tonight. The 240D Executive, the Yellow Bird, something like that. It's sounding good. Let me grab a picture and take a transmission, over.
Okay. This is a 40 channel radio. This radio was not that old radio, 1978, manufacturer's date. Continue on with the thing a little bit. Panasonic, made in Japan. Darn good radio. This, I tell you what, it's just about like the 123B, and just about the same thing, except they changed a few things around on the thing. But it's the same chassis. But I'll tell you what, you get inside this thing, you find out it's not the same radio. It's a hybrid. That's a good little read out on the thing, and a few other goodies on it. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, back to me in the studio. It does sound good. And good night to 23. The 23 Skidoo is going to live up to his name. Thanks, Mitch, for listening in. And hope everybody is feeling good tonight as he turns on, tunes in, and drops out. I have a picture. I don't know where it is. I will find it for you, Mitch. I have a picture of Timothy Leary somewhere in the pantry. I'm not kidding you. So maybe I'll bring it and put it on the desk. I'll put it on the workbench, and I will pop it in tomorrow. All right, Paul. On the Robin T240D. Let's talk about the range expand. I don't know if you have it in or out. You've got plenty of audio, so wherever it is, you don't need to touch a thing over.
Yeah, got a range on the thing. I'll flip it off. It's pretty good, but it's still talking. Not very good. But I'll turn it back on. That should get me back up there. Back to you.
We would like to check it in, and I am assuming you haven't repainted that. If yellow is not your favorite color, this would not be a popular radio.
Right now on the radio, that's on the left-hand side down there. I'm having a terrible noise level up there, Dennis. It's unbelievable. With my ears, it's really knocking everything out. It's really a noise level. I'll come back to you on that. Repeat what you said.
I'm just saying, if you don't like yellow, if yellow is not your favorite color, that is probably not the radio for you, but you're wearing it well tonight. From the Panasonic chassis of Japan, this is their 40-channel version that came out in 1976 when the FCC said that it was time to go ahead and expand the channels. A couple have last year sold as high as $600. Wow. It was a new old stock, so I'm sure that's way more than it was when it was new stock. The Robin T240D, give us another transmission, Paul, if you can hear me, and thanks for bringing it by tonight. Over.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit anyway. I'm running a static microphone on the thing, running a power mic on the thing. That's part of my problem on the range boost. But had it handy, so that's why I'm running. Anyway, thanks for checking in, Dennis.
Hey, thanks for bringing it by. That is our first Robin radio of the evening, radio number 6 at 9:29. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark. We are here in Central California. If you're just tuning in or tuning in for the first time, Channel 11. This is something we have been doing, kind of recreating what the CB radio sounded like 45, 50, 60 years ago when all the radios were glowing in the dark. Our tube radio operators and collectors take time out of their Saturday evening to share the radios, and we are glad that they do. Let's jump over to the Jingle Singers one more time, and then we will be listening for radio number 7. This is the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're listening in the latest style.
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
And from the report, sounds like we've had some conditions today, this week, 10 meters, some openings on 10 and 11 meters. And for the contest, those of you doing the CQ WPX contest. Sounds like the bands are doing great on 20 meters as well. OTR standing by, listening for Radio 7. All right, good enough. You are sounding great here in the control room. I will go back to the other microphonium, KB6GFD. Yeah, because I'm about 3 feet away from the microphone. I have to get a split audio system to run this thing. That's true. Socially distancing from the microphone doesn't quite work, and it is not really necessary.
Unless another user has.
Yeah. Tell me about it. We have, at the radio station, we have covers that go over the windscreens. We have extra windscreens. We have covers that go over the headphones that we have to take off and wash. We have sanitary wipes for the chairs in the studio. And then we have a type of ultraviolet light that when we're done in the control room, because it's very hard, you can't spray disinfectant on the equipment. You can only wipe down so much. So we have this ultraviolet light setup that you put in and turn on for about 5 or 10 minutes and set it in the center of the room. And in theory, my foot switch isn't working. It's supposed to eradicate viruses and virusos and things like that. So lots of stuff to do.
Oh, yes. And actually, speaking of the UV light and stuff, I have, and I sleep with it every night. I have it's called a Ionic Breeze silent air purifier, and it has germicidal protection, and it's like a giant UV bulb inside of it.
You can look into it, right? The one we use, you have to have special glasses if you're in the room. They're a yellow tint, and they really recommend to not be in the room at the same time. It's beaconing its light all over the place.
Well, they actually constructed it in such a way where you cannot look directly into the bulb when it's on. It's totally hidden from view.
Yeah, this one, the bulb is sticking up, and it showers the whole place with light because it has to, the light has to get up on to the equipment and everything. So I suppose if you wanted to take, assuming you had money in your wallet, you want to take money out and put it in, you could nuke the dollar bills.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I can do, even better yet, is build a Tesla coil in the center of my room.
Yeah, well, see, now Ray got it back. He's been talking He's just been turning up the mic gain and talking far away from the microphone. That would work, but I think if it's just you, everything is okay. And I never thought about that. On the UV, we'll have to check the photos. X4000, we have that photo of Randy up in the up right above the control room or studio table. So he's been getting nuked with light. Maybe we'll have to turn it around when we do that.
Well, at least we're not running from the tornadoes like they are back east right now.
Yeah, in fact, Robert, SWL 31, just said they got a tornado warning on, he must have one of the alarms. And that was about 30 minutes ago. He might, I don't know if he's still listening or not, but man, that's something we don't have to worry about here. We don't have earthquake warnings, but I don't think we get quite as many earthquakes as they get to tornadoes around there. Let's see, Robert, Captain Robert, okay on the Tylenol, okay. All right, I won't mention that. And Brown Dog Audio, thanks. Yeah, we talked about keeping it simple. When it was just a microphonium and a radio, it works quite well. But when you start adding pictures to radio and you have more than one thing in your audio chain, and you know how it is, you get jumper cables like Jerry was talking about, in between this and that, there's just that much more for things to go wrong. So it really helps to have the paper that says this is the path that things are happening. And then you have an outside third-party source like YouTube that if something changes or there's one little setting that's not right, then it messes up that and you have to dig into that. So yeah, it can sometimes be a challenge. But the main thing, the base of this is to get as many radios out on Saturday evenings as possible to get them on the air and to have fun on the radio again. So if we can achieve that, it's okay if most of it breaks. The Old Tube Radio Network is looking for radio number 7. And as I take a drink of water, I can tell when I'm talking too much. I have to start drinking water. Hello, Paul, over.
I've been trying to muddle through this thing. Like I said, it's probably the worst I've had it up here in a while, but thanks for checking in. By Polytronic, Polycom, Roman numeral 2.
I'll go to my Polytronics item and look for the Polycom Roman numeral 2. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Your transmit side is working fine tonight. Not sure what's going on with the receivers. I think I have found the green machine as it looks on the photo here on the Polytronics. So if you can hear me, take a transmission and we'll talk about this cool-looking radio. Over.
Yeah, that's just like mine. I think mine's prettier, though. Anyway. Yeah, this is the first TV radio manufactured by Polytronics, I believe. It's what they said. Anyway, that's about the time. The schematic on the date is 1961. It's a 4-channel special control level 2 radio thing. Manufactured in New Jersey. The radio doesn't have an investor tube in the thing, but one Apple sure had it in there, and it made a lot of difference in the receipt. This is still not too bad, I'll tell you what. Quality little radio. As you can see on the picture, it's not that big. There's 4 channels in the thing. Back to you, Jack.
We're talking about simple. Simplicity was sort of the word 59, 60, 61 for people to get into the citizen radio service. Again, it was not supposed to be technical. It was based to mobile. Business person to business person, husband to wife. So something like this was the typical. 4 channels, you don't need an S meter. You're not worried about signal reports. You have a light that tells you when something is on and working, and a couple of controls. Turn the thing on, squelch out the noise. This one actually has a deluxe A&L. A lot of the early radios didn't even have that. speakers right in the front. Looks like I see a mounting bracket perhaps for mobile or some type of a bail. And then it looks on this one, and I don't know if you have it on your radio or not, there's I'll call it a badge, but it looks like you could slip a piece of paper in or out of there and maybe write in the channels or some notes on the channel selector. I don't know if you have that on yours or not, over.
Oh, you bet. I've written in there already with ink on mine, so they're handy little things. All crystal. Pretty neat. This thing also got a hidden fan handle in the picture. You can see it right on the front top. That's the handle. It swivels out, and it's good solid. It's picking up that little radio. One of the better ideas, I'll say, is that it doesn't squawk your hands or nothing. And the microphone I'm using is a carbon. It's one of those heavy polished aluminum polish on it microphone. I think they're manufactured by Turner. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is a very well built, great radio. Back to you, Dennis.
Well, it must be from 1961, and it's 2020, and it's beaconing worldwide on the old Tube Radio Network and still sounding pretty good with a carbon microphone. This is probably got the same element. If you have an old dial telephone, I've got one. I should have it here in the background for looks, I guess. You could unscrew the mouthpiece and that little carbon element would fall out. It's probably very similar to what you have on your radio. And it seems like the carbon granules are okay and your audio is not too bad. I'll put up the S-meter so if you're watching the video, you can give yourself a signal report. Take another transmission, over.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm locked to it. I've got to change my screen a little bit on the thing. Very neat. I like it, Dennis. Okay. Back up to this is the thing again. Yeah, the thing is very simple on the front. I think you see that's where the writing is. The guy wrote it in there. Can't hardly read his writing. He reads my writing on the thing. Anyway, that's about it. And thanks for checking in. By the way, the noise got a little bit better. I don't know how you're doing it on your end, but I can hear you pretty well now. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, I don't think I changed anything. I am going to do a trick. I'm going to pause myself and then see if I can figure out where the picture of the radio is supposed to be. There it is. All right. For some reason, it's showing up stuff that shouldn't be there. Now it's okay. All right. Thanks for bringing it by. You are radio number 7 with and we're getting some good radios tonight that we don't normally hear, and I like that. The Polytronics Polycom Roman numeral 2. Thanks.
However you will light things up, I'll be listening. Thanks.
Breaker OTR.
The Breaker OTR, go ahead, please.
Yes, this is SWL40. Let me turn this down here. SWL40 checking in a old tube radio.
You have certainly come to the right place to check in a tube radio. Go ahead, over.
Okay. What we have here is a 40-channel CB transceiver, otherwise known as the Gemtronics GTX-5000 CB radio with the Turner Plus 3 microphone.
Looking good, doing a good job. The Panasonic clone that will be, and this is our second 40-channel radio tonight, that would be similar to the Robin T240D. I don't have a picture of the Robin, but internally it is good. The microphonium is working well, and hopefully you are hearing me as well as I am hearing you, over.
Yes, you are coming in with about 20 decibels in the red zone, and then when I key down, I'm let's see, it looks like I'm keying down with 3. The scale goes up to 5. It goes, it's swinging up, keys down a little bit past 3, and then swings about halfway when I'm talking there.
Well, you don't have an REA meter to check your percentage of modulation, but I would say you're probably doing okay. So no need to increase things anymore, over.
Oh, roger that. Yep. Yeah, I'm sure it's doing quite fine. Yeah, looking at the national radar, things are happening back east out there in the eastern part of, well, I think it looks like Pennsylvania is, and well, what's that state in between Indiana and West Virginia? I forgot what that is. I think it's Pennsylvania or something there. They're getting pretty good storms out there near the Great Lakes.
Yeah, it's all over. At Tennessee tonight, some alerts from Robert SWL 31. Also, Brown Dog Audio noting moments ago, just heard the thunder and saw the lightning. So he's disconnecting the antennas. So it's good. Sometimes the digital stuff does work out okay for listening to the radio. So you are right with what's going on in the weather. The GTX 5, no, I wrote 500. I made your radio one channel. Okay, I put the 5,000 onto you're back to a 40-channel radio again.
Okay, good enough. Well, you know, you know, like Art Bell said many years ago, we're experiencing the quickening.
Yeah, it's maybe, who was that guy that was, you know, Joe's Hole or something like that? He would always get on and talk about the giant hole. And I haven't heard anybody blame this on HAARP yet. So I'm not sure. If we all just went back to, like they were saying on the comments, back to Bakelite radios and big speaker grills and phonographs that you pull a drawer and they slide out, and you have a tone arm that weighs about 6 pounds and a 78 record. Mel's Hole, thank you. Mel's Hole. Everything would be good. You are radio number 8 with the Gemtronics GTX 5000. Back to you, and OTR is listening.
Break OTR.
Okay, and looks like number 7 missed his slot there. But hello, Ed. And I'll go ahead and go into listening mode with the radio here. 73s to all.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah, I didn't drag my feet enough to get in the 7th spot in the radio. You're number 8, but well, we can also always do the SWL check-ins. The breaking station. Go ahead. Over.
Yes, this is SWL number 7. I've got some major noise over here. One shut off at 9:45, and the other one's going to start up in about 15 minutes, so I figure I better check in real quick.
Okay, you've got their timers down, and who else was experiencing noise? Paul tonight, but I think his might have been more QRN than QRM. You are checked in. I hope all is everybody over there is doing well, and thanks for jumping in.
Yes, doing well in the California lockdown. Dumb stuff. Anyway, have a good one, and hello, Larry. Everyone out there, have a great time. Unfortunately, I'll probably not be able to hear anything in about just a few minutes.
All right, well, thanks. It's like working a DX contest, right? You got to find that hole to get in and make a contact, and you have done it. You are my number, actually, in the contest, you are my number 3 now tonight.
Thank you. Everybody take care.
And the Jingle Singers, once again, would like to, you know, whenever I do the Jingle Singers, I put up the modulation meters. So they said they want to see them They want to see the modulation meters wiggle when they sing. So here we go on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
They don't quite work as well on the video. It's a little delayed, but I guess you get the idea. The right meter is the positive peaks. The left meter is the negative peaks. I guess in theory you want your negative peaks to never go above 100. That is called overmodulation or clipping. And the positive peaks would be good around 100. And if you get some good asymmetrical modulation, you can go even higher than that. And if John ever wants if Motormouth Mall ever wants his suit back, he's going to have to give me one of the modulators so I can peg the positive peaks off of the 140 scale. OTR standing by. Actually, Johnny Carson, didn't he have his own line of suits? And I'm trying to get the skinny tie thing. I think that's more of a 60s. If you look at some of the Carson, those YouTube, like 70s and 80s, he's got the big flashy wide lapels and the big ties. But I think he had his own clothing line. So this is the old OTR clothing line, which fortunately has been. I think it was discontinued even before they sold the first one.
They still dress that style at the used car lots.
You are exactly correct. Maybe that's where this originally came from. I don't know. I noticed I didn't turn on my background lights tonight. The tram radio is dark, but that's okay. The volume switch is starting to go bad, so I'm trying not to turn it off and on more than I need to.
So what are you going to do with your stimulus check?
I don't know. Ask me that if and when I ever get one. I'm still employed, but that's going to depend on a whole bunch of things, especially if I test positive for something. We are working on setting up the FM to do most things remote, and callers and hosts and guests all week have been going through remote stuff. It just requires more work on our part to make the board work. I was actually doing an FM show tonight. I was on the radio simultaneously here for the first hour because I was doing a recorded fill-in, and then I was doing this live. So it's OTR, AM and FM.
Yeah, I'm still wondering what the FM frequency is.
For what?
For radio.
Well, this would be an FM frequency for radio if we change our mode.
Well, I don't know. I'm surprised Disney is still making you work.
Disney hasn't made me work for 7 years.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's the other station.
Yeah, I am the employee. And Ray, I'm trying to think. I've done a lot of car spots, not on the air, but behind the camera. And I don't know if we ever did Selma Auto Mall or not. I think we did individual places out of that before they had to be one thing like Swanson Farney and some of the other guys. But we used to do Bucky Harris, Nobody But Nobody, and remember Otmar Thomas long ago from Visalia Toyota. We did that. I don't think he probably would wear a jacket like this. OTR standing by, counting and amounting soon, but there is still time for you to check in the radio or check in yourself before we head out. Like that guy there, you haven't been getting your exercise tonight, Harvey.
Well, I can definitely use it, but I shouldn't be doing it right now. The Browning R6868 Golden Beagle from Browning Lavatories with the custom D104 with the medallion on the back of it. And, yeah, I just made it out here. What radio number am I?
You are radio number 9, over.
Oh, couldn't quite make it, huh?
Well, we didn't do too badly tonight, and the thing I like is we got some manufacturers checking in that we haven't heard in a while. Well, I have a question for you. If the Browning Golden Eagle, there was the Eagle, the Golden Eagle, which you're transmitting on, which looks a lot like the picture right there. Was there an R69, T69? Would that be the numbers for the Mark II, or did they just call it the Mark II? What do you think?
That is the Mark II. The Mark II is the R69, T69. Now, there are 2 Mark IIs listed in Sam's because they relisted when they put in the, I think, the trans adapter and the sideband transmitter. But basically, the AM transmitter and the AM sideband receiver is the same. But they listed twice, I believe. I don't know what book numbers they are, but there are 2 different book numbers. But anyway, yeah, it's the R69, T69.
Not to be confused with the R68, T68, which we are seeing on the video and hearing from your station. The new Golden Eagle represents the ultimate in citizens band radio stations after introduction of the original Eagle in 1964, which was the first complete base station. I don't know what they mean with that. With all the accessories built in, then there's the Golden Eagle. I can't read that print because it's too small. But no reading necessary. Do you have any of the accessories like the speaker or the cabinet, the wood cabinet, or any of that stuff?
Nope, I just have a transmitter receiver, microphone, and the 180 transmit enhancer.
What is, I think JT calls that the negative, or the reverse preamp.
Oh yeah, it's the, I call it the helper, or the transmit enhancer. Yeah, it came with the radio, and it's actually hooked in line, but I never use it.
Yeah, I actually have one too, and it seems even I changed some parts out, and it was still blowing fuses. In fact, I got like 3 or 4 radios that are blowing fuses here. I think I may have some in my FT102s, some bad filter capacitors. I got to get a call into Mal, and NC4L, the 102 Guru, and get that working, because I could actually use that for a net control station, and it does have a hybrid. It's got a tube transfer. It'd be pretty cool. You are radio number 9 on the, I'm on the wrong page here, on the Browning Golden Eagle R68T68, which is sounding really loud tonight. What am I going to do? I'm going to put the S meter, so if you ever watch the video, you can give yourself a signal report. Back to you.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'm going to try and do one more, see if I can actually get to it. It's one that hasn't been on in, about 3 or 4 years. I'm going to give it a try, so I'll be back.
All right, this is a perfect night for that, because we are having radios that are manufacturers that are checking in for the first time in 2020. So if it hasn't been on in a while, that would be a good thing to do. Let's see, who is leaving the building? Brown Dog Audio. You should start an SSB OTR net in the East. You should do that. We did that here on Friday evenings, and it's been probably 20 years now. SWL2, Mr. OBP, was usually heading that one, but it was on Friday nights on this frequency, and we encouraged those that had sideband old tube radios like the Tram Titan II and the Browning Mark III, or the Mark II with a sideband adapter, the Regency Imperial, and just anybody, of course, to get on the air with their radios, but especially if you had a sideband tube radio. And we did that for a while. And it was a lot of fun, and it was challenging to get everybody close to being on the same frequency, seeing as how all those early radios are really crystal controlled. And there weren't a lot of, although they existed, there weren't a lot of those external VFOs or ways to move the transmitter around them. Actually, Browning had that. The Mark III had it built in, but it was fun on Friday evenings. What else? Counting and amounting. Oh, and the Jingle Singers would like to do what they do best about this time of day. So let's let them do that. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
Hello, Dennis.
All right, hello, radio. I will let you find the radio that's listening to you way too closely. And I'll be standing by, as I think you probably have, the microphone for radio number 10 over.
Yeah, Roger. Oh, this one's working. Okay. This is the Browning 23S9 R2700A combination with a amplified D104. Now, I haven't had this on in several years, and the battery is still working in the mic.
The battery's still working in the mic. It's actually way more, I think, amplification than the radio wants. It is growling just a bit, and you are certainly loud. I'm going to see. I can find a picture of the 20. I don't know if I can find the combination, but I can find a picture of the 23S9, which I think you said was part of the combination there. Give me the Browning combination again, over.
Okay. I turned the mic down. It's less than a quarter. It's the 23S9 transmitter, R2700A receiver. And I've got to get a bunch of stuff off the bench, and eventually in a couple of weeks I'll put some other stuff up, but I decided, well, if I can get to it, I'll turn it on.
And we're glad you did. Yeah, that helped. It's very Browning-like audio. Lots of mids and high frequencies, absolutely no low frequencies, and very loud and very ear-piercing. That's certainly good for DX. I wish we had some tonight. I'm showing the 23S9 from Paul's collection, which, of course, is a 23-channel radio, and he's got the kind of extended chicken head channel selector. And I will see if I don't have somewhere a 2700A receiver picture. I thought I did. I've got a 2700S that says that's the transmitter. It's working. Are you smelling the great smell, the aroma of the dust burning off the tubes yet?
I just hope I don't hear anything burning. What are you going to say? Oh, yeah, I have the same chicken head knob, but on this particular transmitter, the on-the-air light isn't red, it's orange. So I have my orange radio here. Yeah, I haven't had this on in a whole long time. And maybe next week I'll do the Mark II, my bullet hole special. The transmitter has a 38 caliber hole in the transmitter and a very, very small 22 long rifle in the receiver.
And it lived to tell about it. All right, there is the R2700A, another from Paul's collection. It is not on. You know, I'm going to call it concentric. There's the channel selector knob, which looks like is it in frequency and in channels and the frequency, and there's a larger ring and a smaller ring. So is it like the old shortwave radios that had a fast tune and see? I'm not familiar with this at all. With a fast tune and a fine tune, is that what the two knobs do?
Exactly what they do. The inside one is the fast. The fast one. The outside's the slow, and it has a antenna tuner knob on the lower right. If you go about more than 4 or 5 channels either side of where you're at, you re-peak it. The let-up dial on the left of the channel numbers on the right is the frequency. And then you have a very thin, narrow receive meter. Nice radio.
And I want to say this, and you can help me out here. This combination, the receiver showing 1961, so I'm assuming the transmitter-receiver combination would be 6061, and I'm not sure if it would be the first offering from Browning, but probably pretty close to it.
Now, actually, the receiver is a second. It's the R2700A, the R2700, in place of the fine tuner on the lower right. You had a switch to go from receive to transmit, to turn off the receiver, and one would, I think, the lower position was spring-loaded and the upper position locked it. And then you had the also option of using it with a transmitter that had a relay in it for switching. Some did not. And then the transmitter for that one kind of was the S9, which I believe is 8-channel transmitter. Looks a little like this one, but 8-channel. And it had a Vox position switch on there too. And that wasn't the first. That's probably the third on the transmitters. Although I think the R2700 was the first or second receiver. Could be the first, but might be the second. But they had 3 other transmitters before at least before the S9.
All right, very good. Thanks for that info. I was just thinking this was quite an elaborate early piece of gear, but I think Browning, of course, was doing radios and things before the Class D, and when they built something, it reminded me of a shortwave, with the concentric rings. So they figured, people getting into it would be familiar with that if they were doing amateur radio or something, or shortwave listening as well. Well, I have the transmitter keyed. Let's see. Brown Dog was saying, what was the SSB call channel? Okay, back in 23 channel days. I know. That was channel 16. And why would that be? At least it was on the West Coast. When I got my Regency Imperial, that was the channel you used, and you know that, Harvey, channel 16. And one of the reasons was it was next to an RC channel. I think there was a space between 15 and 16. So eventually, when people started making their radios not be crystal controlled, you had some extra space to slide around, and maybe you could get 3 conversations on between 15 and 16, assuming everybody was either on upper sideband or lower sideband. I don't know if the filtering was good. I mean, if you've got good filtering, you can have an upper and a lower sideband on the same channel if your receiver has really, really good filtering. And if you were like me with a double sideband radio, what would happen? You would go to 16, and you would be 6 kC wide. So you had your upper sideband here, your lower sideband there, and somebody would be slid up or below you, and they would eventually come in and say, "Hey, you're messing us up." So that was a big disappointment on my Regency, that it was double sideband, and when you went to 16, someone would inevitably complain if it was busy. And I was down in the LA area, so it was always busy in 1970, 71, 72, 73. AM channel 7 and 14, they were the walkie-talkie channels. My Midland walkie-talkie had channel 7. My Hallicrafters walkie-talkie had channel 11, but all the Sears had channel 14. But I digress. We're talking about Brownings, the R27A, 2700A, the 23S9. They work together. They work well. That one is getting a nice workout. It hasn't been on the air for a while, so it's a clean bill of health. Over.
Hey, Roger. 16 sideband call channel, 23 the go-to channel after. The 3 other transmitters for Browning before the S9, I think the Browning Compact, which I actually have, and it's mated with a R2700A, I think, or an R2700, and it does not have a power supply in it. You get the power from the receiver. The 2 other transmitters were the T2700, get the number, and T2700A. One of them without the power supply, the other one had a power supply in it. Oh, and the trivia on the Demco satellite and super satellite modulators, they had the original modulator had a plug-in for power into, I think, the transmitter. They did make, and so it was not standalone. They did make an identical looking one though, that had its own power supply in it and was standalone. You could use it with any other radio. They also made, I think, that one with just 1 tube in it, while the others had 2 tubes. Back to you.
Yes, I had a station I used to talk to, and I'm going to say it had a solid state radio, and he bought a Demco modulator with a D104, and I want to say it had 2 tubes in it. It's been 1970, 71, and it was the standalone. It wasn't the big fancy one like Paul brought by with the speaker. It was a separate one where you could put it with any radio as long as you had the connecting cables and whatever microphonium that would work with it. And I think it had 2 tubes in it, so it did sound good. Make any radio sound nice. All right. Anything else before we sign out? The Old Tube Radio Network, do some counting and amounting. We got into double-digit radios, and who was the most heard manufacturer tonight? It's going to be interesting.
Okay. The all-chrome which went kind of with the original satellite, Demco satellite, all chrome thing. That's what most people end up using for a standalone modulator. The Demco Satellite Deluxe had that plug-in modulator, got its power from the radio. The Super Satellite had the capability to use the older modulator, but I believe usually came with the newer version that plugged in the wall. And that one you could use with any radio. And I believe that one came either with 2 tubes or the 1 tube, because I have 2 of those modulators, and one has 2 tubes, the other one has 1 tube. I don't know why, but that's what they did. Anyway, back to you for counting and amounting, and I appreciate you letting me have extra exercise.
Well, we all need a little bit more exercise. I'm just beating up the PR40 microphone here tonight. Well, thanks for bringing it by. You gave us double-digit radios tonight. I was just going over some of the comments. I was so busy trying to get video things to work, I missed some important comments tonight. I didn't get to say hello, and he is probably not listening, but it's Rodney, who I actually heard tonight. He was the station on Old Radio Night that was, they did a flat side test. JT and Rodney did a test. I think there was some music or something going on the frequency, and so they did the, let's put our vertical antennas horizontal and look at the, what is it, 30, 20, 40 dB of attenuation to the bad guys, and it worked quite well. So Rodney, if you're still listening or watching this video ex post facto, thanks for listening into the Old Tube Radio tonight. And I did hear your test. It worked well. Of course, you have to be line of sight ground wave for that to work. When you're doing skip, your signal kind of rotates around. So that's why at some point when you're talking to somebody DX and their signal's way up at 20 dB, I used to do that. I had a horizontal and a vertical. You listen to, they're 20 dB on the horizontal and S9 on the vertical, and then they fade out in the horizontal. You go to the vertical, it's like, hey, they're back up. So the signal's kind of rotating around. But when you are line of sight, horizontal and vertical plays a big part. And a lot of the radio stations and TV stations do that when they have something on a nearby frequency and antennas are close by. They'll put one on the flat side, one on the horizontal side, and one on the vertical side, and just shoot them right next to each other. And they've got enough separation not to make things blow up. We'll be counting and amounting in just a moment. The Old Tube Radio Network. Oh, and Harvey, if you're still listening, there was one transmission you took, and the radio started doing a little squeal and howl. I think something was warming up. There was some dust burning off, and then it went away, and it was perfect. That is such a loud radio. Someone, especially when it pings, someone mentioned that if you stop moving it across that chalkboard, that their life would be a little bit easier. But it's the ping. Let's see if I can get the jingle singers to get away from the fishbowl there, fish tank, and get to the microphonium. I will be able to finish this thing tonight because I have to have the fanfare. There we go.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals tonight. You know what I'll do? So you don't have to look at my ugly mug. Let's switch over to the overmodulated camera. There we go. Let's see if I can do this right. And keep it at 100% or something like that. Where are we going? SWLs, we had 11 on page 1, 14 on page 2, 15 on page 3, and 16 on page 4 for a total of 56. Hey. Phil will like that number tonight. And radios, we had an even 10. Starting off with the Demco satellite. Hello, Demco. It's been a while. Mr. JT, 21, got to ring the Demco bell. So not only are we kicking the dust off the radios tonight, we're kicking the dust off the Demco bell that hasn't seen the light of day in 2020. Thanks, Paul, for that. The Chris 23 Plus came by as radio number 2 from Chris. He also brought by radio 3. That was the Gem Marine Products G Powermade. The E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. Haven't heard one of those in a few weeks. Jerry SWL 84 brought that by. Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A was radio number 5. I would like to see that thing on the modulation meter. Then Paul came by with radio 6 and 7, the Robin T240D, one of our 40-channel radios tonight, and the Polytronics Polycom 2, radio 7. Radio 8 was the Gemtronics GTX 5000 from Larry, and at that time, it was an 8-way tie. Then we had radio number 9, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 from Harvey, and then it was a 9-way tie. And then the 10th radio was the Browning 23S9 transmitter R2700A receiver, and then we had 2 manufacturers the same from Browning. So the Brownings take the most heard manufacturer tonight. We are in week 3 of this 8-week roster. If all goes well, I will be here in the air chair next week, and that will be a good thing. So I hope all of you will be able to join us, and that however you are dealing with what is going on, not only here locally, but all over the Universal Media NetWeb, that you do it in a way that works for you and keeps you safe and others as well. So thanks for listening in. The Old Tube Radio Network, thanks to SearchLawrence.com, Frodex for the Nixie tubes, and all of you for taking time out of the chaos that get in to play on the radio a little bit. It's a good thing. It's a safe thing. And that is nice. Let's see, back to the control room. Let's try that. And then I will check on what happened to YouTube tonight. I think I know what the problem is. It's showing up as the URL is not being listed, so anything that looks for it won't post it. So once I find out what button on what page on what setting is supposed to change and why it changed, then we will get things back. So thanks everybody for putting up with that item of interest. So good night, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network. Yeah, I'm looking for my script. I do not have a teleprompter. You will never see me, Ray, you will never see me reading off the teleprompter, although I've done enough television that I know where the lens is. That's the first thing. You need to know where the lens is, so either if you need to address it, you can look at it, or if you want to get out of it, you can hide yourself. There you go. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Dennis, and good night.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Isn't that what the on-air light is for?
Well, it's for radio. Also in TV, you have the on-air light, so you know that the studio is hot. But the thing is, if you know what camera is on and you're not in front of it, you're okay. See, I'm always seen to be in front of the cameras here. The radio is a different story. When the on-air light is on, you're on, if the microphone's anywhere near you.
I thought they put red lights on the cameras to tell you which one is on.
That is correct. They have little beaconing lights, not only on the top of the cameras, and sometimes because they're looking into the screen for the teleprompters, you'll have a little red light that you can see as you're reading around, and also the director, the producer, you see where they have the little thing in their ear, the little IFB, the feedback. The director is probably saying, take one, or you're on the air. You know, they're talking to them as well. So if they appear that they don't know they're on the air, someone's going to whisper in the ear. It's like, you are on the air.
And then they take one step forward and point at you.
That's the floor. That's what I used to do. That's the floor director's your job, and your job is basically to keep your damn finger out of in front of the camera. You never want to see your finger pointing at somebody.
You know, it's Ovaltine time, but sometimes I wish you'd like Nestle's. That way we can have the dog thing.
The dog thing or the cat thing? I don't know. All right, let's see. Let me go. I'm still streaming, so I got to turn off the stream. But before I do, let's go to that, and let's see if I can do a tone wave here. Ooh. See, my sine wave is not good. No, that's bad. Ooh. That wasn't too bad. That waveform wasn't bad at all. And I was about 80% modulated. So, all right, I can say I'm going to have fun with this. Good night, everybody.
Don't you remember the Nestle's chocolate song with the dog?
Nestles. Nestle's makes the very best. Over to you.
Chocolate.
And there's probably a Bosco song and all sorts of songs. Dr. Ross dog food is doggone good. We could go on forever. Okay, let me get out of here. Good night, everybody. Let me hit the end stream switch. Sorry about the video wacko tonight.